Okay, we have a 1,500-point battle for you today. I've got Phoenix Lord Asurmen and Eldrad in here. 6 more Dire Avengers, 10 Dire Avengers in here. Fire Dragons in that Falcon, Fire Dragons in here. And I'm facing a foot Imperial Guard army. Look at this gorgeously painted army. I'm going to come in nice and close so you can get a good look at these guys. Very cool. Tons and tons of dudes. Grenade launchers everywhere, a bunch of missile launcher crews, a bunch of heavy bolter crews back there, some guys with plasma guns in here, some meltas scattered around somewhere. Really cool army. 1,500 points. And my opponent is going first, unless I can steal initiative. I'm going to try to steal initiative on a 6. No, it's a 1. So my Imperial Guard is going first. We're fighting over 4 objectives. 1, 2, 3, and 4 over here. That's what the table looks like. Back in a bit. Okay, so rounding up top of turn 1 for this army. These guys moved over here, got an order somewhere to run. They ran in over there. Some order to bring it down on those guys, but it failed, even with a reroll. Nevertheless, they still fired their missiles into here. Got 1 penetration. However, the cover save stopped it, because there was tons of cover happening there. Some shooting from the multi-laser in here, couldn't quite connect and penetrate on or glance on this guy. Everything else just moved up a few inches in the forest, moved up over here, swarming these objectives, just coming right towards us. No fear from this Imperial Guard army, they're coming right towards us, I love it. Okay, so on to turn 1 for the Okay, Eldar. Rounding up top of turn 1 for Eldar. Fortune on Eldrad and Phoenix Lord Asurmen's squad, fortune on the vehicle, flat out into this position. These guys with the 5 Fire Dragons, flew cruising speed over here, fired into there, penetration, but just made it so he can't move or shoot. This guy got guided, moved up 6 inches, fired everything into there, even with rerolls and all penetrations, couldn't do anything. This guy went flat out over here, just repositioning from this way part of the board over here, and get a cover save over there. So that is it. On to top of turn 2. Not a big turn for the Eldar. All right, rounding up top of turn 2 for Imperial Guard. These guys just sort of moved a little bit closer, fired some stuff into here, couldn't quite get through armor. 3 meltas were just in 12-inch range, but because they didn't have the double dice, they couldn't. A bunch of them missed, and they couldn't quite penetrate. Some meltas over here, 3 meltas fired into here. 1 penetration got through, but I had fortune and I had a cover save, so I managed to stop that. On the other hand here, though, a bunch of plasma guns, I think, fired in on this guy. 1 of them got through the cover save, and of course rolled a 6 to explode me. 4 guys just died. 4 fire dragons just died in a fireball as the vehicle exploded around them. And 1 guy survived. He was not pinned, though. So this brave little bastard is on his own here, this fire dragon. And I think that was about it. No assault phase really yet. This tank popped smoke. He's using himself as a shield over there. Pretty cool. And we're on to bottom of turn 2. We got to start making just a little bottom of turn 2 wrap up, because there's a close combat starting. There's 3 poor bastards left here after all the shooting, and being assaulted by Phoenix Lord Asurmen, Eldrad, 9 survivings of these guys. Why is this happening? So these guys, I flew them over here, popped them out, exploded that vehicle despite the cover save from the smoke. There were 5 meltas fired into it. It exploded. The squad inside, most of them died, ran away. This squad, a bunch of guys died, ran away. 5-inch explosion, that's why. A bunch of those guys died, ran away. 1 of these guys died. 2 of these guys died from the explosion, but they stuck it out. A bunch of guys died over here, from that. I shot most of my army into this stuff around here. This got whittled down to 3. Those guys had to run. There was an entire squad there that got gunned down. So I just fired all my guns that I could into there. This vehicle even fired into here. Frag missile, pulse laser, nose cannon, managed to shoot this squad of 10 down to 4, but they made their leadership. So there's a crater supposed to be in here, and we're gonna have a combat starting back in a bit. Okay, so just rounding up that combat, no surprise, Phoenix Lord Asurmen just took the skulls of those 3 poor bastards, and then they consolidated 3 inches. Forgot to mention, these guys showed up last turn, the cavalry, but they only went on 6 inches, ran a few more inches. They didn't have any targets to go after quite yet, but they will have some this round. And this round, a bunch of sentinels showed up, and they showed up, I think, on this side. So we're gonna see 2 or 3 sentinels, I think. Yeah. And they all have las cannons. Badass las cannons showing up on this side. Look at these guys. They're going to cause me no end of pain. No end of trouble there. So back with turn 3 in a little mid-top of turn 3 wrap-up. The cavalry has made the charge into Phoenix Lord Asurmen and his squad with Eldrad. What happened this turn? Eldrad ate a plasma pistol. He just felt like just swallowing it down. A bunch of stuff fired from here into here. Las cannons fired into, I think, this thing here. Oh, were they the ones that immobilized this thing? Yeah, they were the ones that immobilized this thing. Some shooting. Meltas over here managed to just wreck this guy. So the AP1 really helped there against Holo fields. And this guy's shaken, so a lot of hail of fire coming at us from a bunch of stuff. But that was about it. And we lost a few of these guys from shooting. 2 more this turn from shooting, but fortunately helped there. And it's going to be combat starting. They are charging in with their crazy bonus. Okay, so rounding up that combat, no surprise. We killed a bunch of them before they even got to go. Then we had simultaneous attacks on both sides, but we did have a 5+ invulnerable rerollable with the Shimmer Shield. So no casualty caused against us. We managed to, I think, kill 4 or 5 guys. We ran them down, and then we consolidated 4 inches this way. What happened over here, this guy, I think I mentioned, is already immobilized, unfortunately, so no more transporting for him. And this thing is wrecked, so, you know, things are still going to be pretty tough, actually. It's going to be pretty tough. Most of my vehicles are useless at this point, because my last vehicle is doing anything. So we're going to have an interesting fight in our hands. Back in, okay, bottom of turn 4 wrap-up, right? What turn is it now? Bottom of turn 3 wrap-up, right. Yeah, I'm getting all confused here. So we are about to have a combat over here. We shot down a few of these guys. We didn't bother blade storming, because I wanted to actually fight them in combat. Over here, Eldrad fortuned himself, and he's charging separately over here. He managed to roll a 6 on his movement, so on the unit did so, and he did it as well. So you know, he's going to get out there. My one lone surviving Fire Dragon loaded into this immobilized vehicle. These guys moved over here. They fired into there, gunned down a bunch of dudes. Those guys ran away. A unit of 2 surviving guys also running away. These guys fired in here, killed a couple guys. I think we forgot leadership on that unit, but let's see if they're sticking around or not. They're brave. They're 2-1. And so we have an interesting 2 combats starting. So back in a bit. Okay, so rounding up the bottom of this turn, what happened? Eldrad managed to get all 3 hits, 3 penetrations, because they were only armor 10. One of them was wrecked because we immobilized him. He's in a squadron. The second guy exploded, but wounded Eldrad, but actually we made the save. And then this last guy put a wound in Eldrad, but he saved it. So yeah, this guy's the one that put the wound in Eldrad. The explosion did, but he didn't kill us, so we're stuck in and out over there. These guys, of course, cleaved through. 2 guys died, though. We had to go last, because as you know, Dire Avengers do not have grenades, so 2 of them got chopped down before they could do anything. However, Phoenix Lord Asurmen and the squad managed to kill those guys, ran them down, consolidated a few inches. And that is it. So this guy went flat out, so he's way over here. I positioned him because I figured this squad would get killed down to a size small enough to fit in there. So that might have actually happened. We'll see what happens on my turn. But back in a bit, I think it's top of turn 4 coming out, right? Okay, top of turn 4, a much better turn from Imperial Guard, finally. Those guys just moved in there with the help of these guys. Those guys gunned down all 3 of my Fire Dragons. What else happened? This guy got immobilized despite the cover saves. A ton of stuff fired at him. Eventually a missile managed to immobilize him. I do have vectored engines, however, it's still no good because I needed him to contest at least that objective. So now I have to kill pretty much everything on both of those objectives. Otherwise, the best I can do is a tie because I'm trying to own these 2 objectives. Yeah, it's rough. All my vehicles are immobilized or dead. So, but that was a pretty good turn there. Combat over here, Gong Show. Eldrad missed with both attacks, but then this guy couldn't get a wound on him. So Gong Show over there, and I think that was pretty much the extent of it. Yeah, so this guy also can't shoot, so from the Holo fields, but he's also immobilized. Back with bottom of turn 4. Okay, so the game has definitely changed. What happened on bottom of turn 4? Eldrad fortuned those guys. He's locked in, so he couldn't fortune himself there. But he put it 1 hit into here, but of course rolled a 1, so he just glanced this guy, even though he needed a 2+. Over here, we moved in. This guy decided to pop out of the vehicle here, because he needs 6s to grenade into a walker anyway, so I decided I don't want to just get this guy killed and then have Eldrad get run down or something, so we fired a ton of stuff in here, but we weren't too lucky. We only rolled, we only killed 2 guys with all of our shooting into there, and they made their leadership, so that was not too great. 3 of these guys, Asurmen and 2 dudes, I didn't blade storm because I knew that not all of them were going to be in. They moved towards this, and then they just fired their regular guns up here, got killed 1 base only, but they also passed their leadership because of the reroll. There's a flag nearby. And that is it. Those guys last turn, I forgot to mention, they rallied. A bunch of stuff ran off the board because they just couldn't rally. And we're on to top of turn 5 now, so it's actually pretty close. Okay, rounding up top of turn 5, what happened? These guys grenaded into here, charged in with crack grenades, just blew off all of his weapons, and he's immobilized. He's 1 little sneeze away from being wrecked. Not that it really matters, I guess, because he's kind of useless right now, but you know, he's holding on for dear life there. Over here, Eldrad finally chopped that thing down. It exploded. It didn't hurt Eldrad, and it failed to wound anybody out here. It caused a few wounds, but we saved them all with fortune. Over here, shooting into these guys finally from a bunch of stuff. Managed to blow away 2 guys. We made our leadership though, and that was it. Oh no, sorry, this vehicle can't shoot. It got stymied by a missile, and that guy, of course, can't shoot. Has no weapons left at all. So it's on to bottom of turn 5. Yeah, it's I'm basically just I have to fight for a tie at this point. You know, brutal, but so be it. Back in a bit. Okay, so rounding up bottom of turn 5, what happened? Eldrad was close enough to doom those guys, Fortune the squad because he had joined it in the movement phase. What happened over here? These guys gunned those guys down finally. They moved 6 out of the forest and gunned those guys down. They're on the objective. These guys blade stormed into there. By some dumb luck though, they made a lot of cover saves. We forgot their leadership though. Yeah, I guess they're rocking. They got a 3 and a 2. These both vehicles were silenced, so this guy just moved up and ran 1 inch because there was nothing else to shoot at for it. We're gonna see if the game ends on a 1 or 2. Let's see if this pain ends. Oh, the pain continues on to turn 6. Top of turn 6. So what happened over here? Those guys came out, tried to gun this guy down, but by some miracle he survived. He made only 1 save and he passed it. They rapid fired, so they couldn't assault him. They tried to do an order to get those guys to make me re-roll my cover saves over here, but I think it failed over there. However, they fired in. I made all my saves, though as usual I put 1 on Phoenix Lord Asurmen, 2+ rerollable, 1 on Eldrad, 3+ rerollable, 1 on the Exarch, 3+ rerollable, and 1 of the regular 4+ rerollables passed. Some shooting from grenade launcher frag into here, but scattered off somewhere. And that was about it. Those guys moved up and ran, and I think they're out of 3 inches of that thing, but they're trying to get close enough so that in case those guys run, they'll still own that objective. I think that's more than 3, but I'm not sure. These guys are still 2 squads within that objective. There's no way I'm going to contest that without a vehicle anymore. And we're on to bottom of turn 6 coming up. Also forgot to mention, this thing is now wrecked. Missile's been firing at this thing every turn, immobilizing it, making it so it can't shoot. Finally just blew it up. Finally just wrecked it. So this guy's just wrapping up bottom of turn 6. Fortune on these guys, Doom on those guys, and then he saved his last power. What did he do? He Eldritch Stormed into these guys, managed to kill 2 of them. They passed their pinning from the Eldritch Storm, and they passed their leadership check. Eldritch Storm had to roll for power, then it had to roll to hit, but it direct hit over there. Managed to wound 3 guys, 2 of them died. These guys over here, they moved sort of into that bottom area of the building. These 2 are up here just because I can't put them physically in there, but they're sort of in there. And through those windows, my opponent just realized that there's windows there they can use to heavy bolter into me, so I fired at the heavy bolters, killed 2 of the bases, even with the cover, but that guy stuck around, so 1 of them stuck around. This guy here tried to put a Melta into the heavy bolter squad, but missed, of course. When they have no cover and they're just within 12 range, of course he missed. So that was that over there. And we're going to see if the game ends on a 1, 2, or 3 this time. Misery continues on to turn 7. Awesome. Okay, so rounding up top turn 7, it's just grinding me down. Tons of shooting into here, killed everybody except for the Exarch. The Exarch made his leadership, sticking it out there. Shooting into, pretty much everything fired into him, but he managed to make his 3+ a bunch of times. Thank God for that extra armor. The extra point of armor on that guy. And that's it, so we're going to see turn 7. There's a small chance that I might be able to shoot off those troops off that objective to win it. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so we finally managed to just shoot our opponent off the objective. What happened? I didn't bother fortuning because it's bottom of turn 7. I doomed. I was just in range after dooming those guys, dooming that one thing over there. Guided these guys. This one guy fired through the windows, managed to blow away that 1 troop heavy bolter crew. Then I strung these guys out in a conga line. Sorry, these guys fell down. This guy's over here. This guy was over here. Conga line them, trying to get as many in range as possible to Bladestorm there. Only Phoenix Lord Asurmen unfortunately was in there. 4 wounds though, no cover saves. He killed 4 guys. Forced a leadership check. They rolled a 12. Re-roll with the flag, rolled a 10, and then they ran 10 inches off the board. So I just managed to sneak in. Basically, it should be a tie, but it's just barely a win for Eldar. 1 objective to 2 for Eldar because this guy's owning this one here, the Exarch, and these guys are owning this one back here. So a really good game. And basically, it was a tie after the middle round there, but just for shits and giggles, we played it out. But really good game. A lot of carnage everywhere. I think there's like 7 or 8 Eldar models on the boards left. So pretty good game.